Having lived in the UK more than I've lived in my country where I was born in Nigeria, I want to say something briefly about UK, and then I'll go into some of the harsh realities of living in the UK. I've done some videos in the past. If you check on my channel, I'm going to put some links to some of the videos I did in the past regarding living in the UK. But something made me to come up with this video. Hello everyone, welcome back to Ifechi family. Just as a little bit of brief introduction for those who joined this channel since I did my last video regarding living in the UK. We came into the UK in the mid-80s and we have lived in the UK ever since. Our 4 children were born and bred here in the UK. Things have changed a lot between the time we arrived in the UK in the 80s to now. Actually, let me not even go too far. Things have changed a lot since lockdown to now in the UK. A little bit about the 80s and 90s when I was raising my children up. I've said this in previous videos, but just briefly. Children receive a lot of support here. In those days, fresh milk, this, that, free school meal, and all the rest of it. But what made me to come up with this video is the fact that a lot of people are coming into the UK and are facing the harsh realities of what is going on at the moment. Those who are coming here would think that this is how UK has always been, but it's not. It used to be a lot better. Years and years ago, your GP is your general practitioner. Because in this country, once you move to an area, you have to register with a GP. GPs in those days will visit you in your home when your child or anybody is unwell. They even do night calls. They come to your house. That was good old days. You have various GPs. You just need appointments. You get appointments. They, as I say, they can even attend to your home, especially when it's a young child that is unwell. But over the years, things have changed a lot. We had a lot of free things at the time, but let me just say, since lockdown, things have changed a lot. You can hardly see your GP. They call it e-consult. You don't see them face to face anymore. I thought it's only in a particular area, but when I speak with my clients, they say that it's the same all over. Let me also talk about NHS. NHS is National Health Service. That is where you get your treatment. You don't pay anything when you go to an NHS hospital. However, those of us who work in the UK, every month they remove obviously the tax and also national insurance. They remove some money from your salary every month. But when it comes to getting treatment under NHS, it doesn't matter how much you have paid in, whether you paid in more than the other person or some people haven't even paid at all. Everybody will receive the same treatment. That's what NHS does. And I remember when I was working in NHS, my background is a nurse and midwife, but I worked as a nurse in this country in a surgical ward. I worked my way up to junior sister in surgical ward before I branched out about 15 years ago to become a specialist practitioner in occupational health. Those days when we are working in the hospitals, things were so different. You actually enjoy going to work. I entered nursing because I enjoy looking after people. But these days, things have changed a lot. The people I know that still work in NHS will tell me that it's no longer what it used to be. That they are just there because they have to pay their mortgages. When it comes to that, especially for somebody who is a nurse or a doctor, who should be looking after people, when it comes to the fact that you are just there for the money and not for the job you do, then that's a bit of concern. Things have changed a lot in the UK. So the health service is number one. You have an appointment, you may have an issue, medical, some symptoms, and you go to consult them, and they'll give you appointments next year. Some of my clients tell me that they've been given appointment for August, September next year for something that they are suffering from now. So some people now going privately. So despite paying for your national insurance contribution, people are now going privately to do their MRI scan and to do other things. This is not good. Something I needed to actually say again is that this place, you can be very lonely. You can be very lonely here in the UK if you don't have your family. That's why some people, when they come, they just tend to walk and walk and walk, because they are just lonely and they keep walking. You know, we had an event a few weeks ago, or a couple of weeks ago, thereabout, where Chief Imo attended, and people were like, oh, people are having fun in London. It's not always the case. We don't always go to events like that. It's once in a while. Anyway, for us, anyway, we don't go into such events because we're not lonely. We have each other, especially when your children are grown and gone and you're just on your own. That's why we keep praying that God will keep parents or husband and wife alive for longer period, so that you can be each other's company and to avoid loneliness, because your children will grow and gone. They will come and visit. The other week our children came back, we all went for a meal and all the rest of it. But it's always just two of you when your children are grown and gone. That's why I always say to couples, make sure that you get on with each other. Make sure you get on with each other so that in your older age you don't feel lonely. You can be each other's company. You continue to be each other's company. The last thing I want to mention now is people who are coming from where I come from, which is Nigeria, coming here to preach or to pray for people without their permission. There are instances of nurses who have been struck off NMC register. NMC is a Nursing and Midwifery Council. That's the body that governs that registered nurses are under NMC. They have been struck off because one of them was because a lady was about to go to the theater. She was praying for that lady, asking God to forgive her and help her, that if it's her sin that caused her to do this and all the rest of it. The lady burst out crying. They came and asked her what's going on, and she mentioned what happened. That lady was struck off registered. Another one I've heard as well, where a lady had a very serious condition in the hospital ward. As she was attending to the lady, she started praying for the lady and was touching on the person's body where the issue was and saying, God, as I'm laying my hand now, heal this lady, forgive her sins, because of me looking after her, let her be healed and all the rest of it. And the lady was just looking at her, wondering, what is all this? So when her people came to visit, she mentioned that to them, and that she was very upset that this person was reporting her to God, thinking that it may be something that she has done that made her to be unwell. Now, when you come to a place, please learn how they behave and then follow suit. Don't go and start praying for people without their permission. Don't go and start talking about your faith to people. That's the harsh reality, especially in your place of work. If you're out there, you're doing evangelism, that is so different. That is so, they can do evangelism, of course. But when you are in your workplace, especially in hospitals or in a teaching job or in your office, anywhere you are, please keep your religion to yourself. But when you are out there on evangelism and you see some of your mates, yeah, you can talk to them. That one is an open place. But when it comes to a place you are employed to work, please don't. There are certain discussions you don't have, like gender and all the rest of it, and especially your religion or praying for anybody. You have to ask people, even if they have faith, ask them first, do they mind you praying for them, or they may even request it themselves. So this aspect, I don't want to forget about this one, because it's very important and it has cost a lot of people their jobs, and you don't want to fall victim. So this is one of the things you have to learn when you come into the UK. I'm going to stop this video here. It's gone a bit longer than I would have wanted, but I needed to bring this one in. Thank you everyone for listening. See you in my next one. Goodbye and God bless.